Do you realize how crazy it actually is to hear this news every single day now? Let me say this upfront. Personally, I think the price of Bitcoin should, of course, be much higher. We should easily be over $200,000 with Bitcoin. What really blows my mind is that this is happening every 24 hours now. For example, at the Bitcoin Conference 2025, Pakistan announced that they will introduce a strategic Bitcoin reserve and that they will never sell this Bitcoin.
Today, I will announce that the Pakistani government is setting up their own government-led Bitcoin strategic reserve. And we want to thank the United States of America again because we are drawing inspiration from them. And this wallet, the National Bitcoin Wallet, is not for speculation or hype. We will be holding these Bitcoins and we will never ever sell them.
And that's not all that happened. US Vice President J.D. Vance also made a clear statement, but more on that later. In case you weren't paying attention or you weren't there, of course you can't watch every video, but listen up. About 1 or 2 weeks ago, Michael Saylor, the CEO of MicroStrategy, basically announced that all other companies worldwide have to follow suit, or they're out. That sounds extreme, and it is. MicroStrategy's stock has risen 3,000% in 2 years. For comparison, a good year for a stock might be 7%, 10%, 15%, or 20%. In the crypto world, we're used to 20% per week, and 20% per year for a stock is like your house increasing in value by 20% every year. Unthinkable, but 3,000% is just insane, totally crazy. Then we heard about Metaplanet, whose stock shot up by 700%, and about another company with 400%. Michael Saylor said in the video that there are around 12,000 companies on the stock exchanges that, just like MicroStrategy, would benefit massively if they bought and held Bitcoin. According to Michael Saylor, just the announcement that they are adding Bitcoin to their balance sheet often causes their stock to rise by 100%. And that's not even counting the effect if Bitcoin itself doubles, triples, or quadruples in value. Do you understand all of this? Since then, we keep hearing about new companies that are unexpectedly buying Bitcoin. Maybe you remember? I always tell you the strange thing here is these narratives we're experiencing right now. I have no idea why so many people always latch onto a particular narrative. Maybe that's just human and normal. Sometimes everyone is talking about Bitcoin futures, then about the next Bitcoin development. They always just focus on this one thing and don't look at the bigger picture. For example, you see that everyone is watching BlackRock when it comes to Bitcoin. The exact same thing is happening with the ETFs. No matter what news you read, even if I bring up something different that has nothing to do with ETFs, we often end up back at the ETF topics. The point is this: these ETFs will buy huge amounts of Bitcoin by the end of this year and also next year, and it's very likely that this will practically go on forever. The problem is, Bitcoin is not a stock. You can't just decide in a meeting to print or create 100 million new Bitcoins. There are only 21 million Bitcoins. That's it. Done, finished, period. Just take a look. A single ETF will probably hold 1 million Bitcoins by the end of the year. MicroStrategy is also aiming for 1 million Bitcoins. Tether already owns over 100,000 Bitcoins because they are buying extremely large amounts. And on top of that, there are all the other investors, including yourself. All of this adds up. And now we also saw J.D. Vance, who made it clear that Bitcoin and digital assets are not just technology. They are increasingly becoming crucial for America's economic future. J.D. Vance emphasized that the rise of crypto and the public interest in Bitcoin will actually make the US dollar stronger, and that crypto will play a strategic role in the coming decades.
You have to start thinking of the long-term strategic implications of Bitcoin. Bitcoin is owned by about 50 million Americans. A lot of Americans have made a lot of money, have created a lot of wealth for themselves, and that's a great thing. But I actually think that where Bitcoin is going is as a strategically important asset for the United States over the next decade. It's one of the reasons why President Trump, with the help of our great AI guy, David Sachs, it's one of the reasons why we started the Bitcoin Reserve. Because we want to start to put in motion the strategic importance of Bitcoin for the United States government. We know that the PRC doesn't like Bitcoin. The People's Republic of China doesn't like Bitcoin. Well, we should be asking ourselves, why is that? Why is our biggest adversary such an opponent of Bitcoin? And if the Communist Republic of China is turning away from Bitcoin, then maybe the United States should be embracing Bitcoin, and that's one of the things we're going to do. But that's not just a vice president standing up here and talking at you. The way Bitcoin is involved in the strategic future of our country, that's got to be a two-way conversation. And so when I talk about getting involved in politics, one of the things you all need to do is keep giving us feedback and keep telling us the ways in which Bitcoin can play a positive role in the strategic future of this country. I know the Bitcoin Policy Institute is working on this very topic right now, but every one of you needs to be involved in this conversation. Because I don't think any of us want to wake up in a country 10 years from now that is less wealthy and less prosperous because we made bad decisions today.
We're going to make the right decisions, but that depends on you all being part of the conversation. So be part of that conversation. Simply incredible. And as I recently explained, the Bitcoin holdings on crypto exchanges are shrinking dramatically every day. Every day, 300 million, 700 million, or even $1 billion worth of Bitcoin and Ether are leaving the exchanges. They're being withdrawn and, in all likelihood, won't be moved back. Pakistan wants to build up a Bitcoin reserve, or has probably already started doing so secretly in the background. New companies are constantly joining in, wanting to hoard as much Bitcoin as MicroStrategy. And that's impossible because Bitcoin is already so scarce. But their wallets are huge and they're going to try to buy more Bitcoin anyway. And the real problem? There are far fewer liquid Bitcoins than many people think, for example, on crypto exchanges. Every day, new companies announce that they're doing what MicroStrategy is doing. For example, the Basel Medical Group is currently negotiating exclusively to buy $1 billion worth of Bitcoin. They want to strengthen their balance sheets and diversify their currency reserves with this. And this is the trend we're currently witnessing, and it keeps intensifying the scarcity more and more. And this announcement is a major turning point for the healthcare company from Singapore, for example. It now wants to combine digital assets with aggressive growth. And recently, there was another company with similar plans. And this is the craziest part of the whole thing. Just imagine they want to start right away with $1 billion. Not with 100 million, not with 1 million. They all say that they will initially buy Bitcoin worth $1 billion. After that, many of these companies plan to use 50% of their future profits for Bitcoin as well. And now ask yourself what will happen if new companies like this keep popping up every day, also buying and planning to buy Bitcoin. Yes is buying Bitcoin for the first time with $1 billion and might then want to invest another $300 million per quarter in Bitcoin. Imagine 15, 20, or even 35, 50 companies doing this, and new ones joining in every day wanting to do the same. And don't forget about the ETFs, the big investors, the whales, and the family offices. These wallet addresses have been buying 100, 200, or even 300 Bitcoin every single day for years, and it just doesn't stop. And the whole thing is scary, but it's really been happening non-stop for 2 years. These whales will continue to be the major Bitcoin holders. That's why they're called whales. At the same time, the amount of Bitcoin on crypto exchanges is continuously shrinking. That's why, in the future, we are very likely to see a Bitcoin price of $1 million per Bitcoin. And if that seems unrealistic to you, if you don't see the connection, you should definitely check out my recent videos. And what's really paradoxical, the longtime Bitcoin critic Peter Schiff said at the Bitcoin conference that he has brought more people to Bitcoin than anyone else. Absolute simulation mode we're living in here. I have to tell you something because I learned this from personal experience at this event. And this isn't something I'm proud of, but it's a factor. Based on what I've been told by countless people who have asked me to pose for selfies with them, I'm probably responsible for more people getting into Bitcoin than anyone else who has made this comment. Man, every time I tell you guys not to buy Bitcoin, you end up buying even more. So you can thank me for that. But if you want to know the reason why I didn't buy Bitcoin when I first heard about it, and it wasn't adopted, even though the credits were there. It wasn't adopted, he talked to me about it. These were people from my SED campaign. In 2010, we were working with him because some people donated Bitcoin in 2010. In 2010, I don't know what happened with that Bitcoin because I tried to find it. And the people in my campaigns were saying, why don't you buy some of this Bitcoin? What even is that? I actually thought I was going to buy it. I don't know if it was $1 or less than $1, or I can't remember exactly. But the main reason why I didn't just take a position on it, I thought I would put 10 or 50K into the market. I don't know, I was going to buy something. And I never asked myself how you could stop someone if they come in with another kind of money. But the fact is, every day there are constantly news stories that should make everyone bullish. Take Pakistan, for example, which wants to set up a Bitcoin reserve, something they announced at the Bitcoin Conference 2025. Then there are more and more companies that want to buy and use Bitcoin and so on. There's just too much happening every day. The purchases and accumulation of Bitcoin in the crypto market are enormous. So stay alert. Now we already have another company that wants to invest its first billion in Bitcoin. This week or next, at least 2 or 3 more companies will announce the same thing. That's why it's so important for you to take action now. Click the link in the description below the video if you want to achieve financial freedom through crypto. Watch the video, it's free. Remember, there's not enough Bitcoin left for everyone. The USA, BlackRock, and MicroStrategy, along with many others, each want 1 million Bitcoin, but mathematically that's simply impossible for everyone. It just can't be done. And it gets even worse if those who have already bought Bitcoin refuse to sell and more companies follow suit and also want to buy Bitcoin. Then all we can do is hope for the masses to panic sell next time, so we can buy Bitcoin at a lower price again. But maybe that won't happen anymore because the price will rise so much that those who have been holding Bitcoin for years will be highly incentivized to sell their Bitcoin at a high price. I hope you enjoyed it. I hope you were able to take something away from this and that you're having a great day. We'll talk again soon. I am